All right, guys, if you woke up this morning and you looked at your watch list, whew, major bloodbath. Okay, today's January 19th, and maybe you're wondering what the heck is going on. Things started looking good. Prices were going up. Bitcoin was back up, around 96, 98-ish. And you wake up this morning and eesh. So, let's take a look at the numbers. Bitcoin struggling to hold 93,000, down over 2%. XRP slipped to $2.01. I think even last night it was down in the 180s, 189 maybe I saw it touch, right? So it is barely clinging to that $2 support level, right? The psychological level, right? But the real pain, if you're holding the alts, Solana down 5.5%, 134. Ethereum down 3.5%, right? Everything is in the red, and we're probably wondering why. All right. So three things that I'm going to cover, which kind of explain why we lost almost 150 billion in market cap overnight, right? What happened? Why the nosedive? Let's break this down. Okay. Like I said, three things that I think are going on. Well, one probably for sure, but going on to make these prices dive. And this is another thing, guys, of why on my channel, I try to take a macro view, right? Right now it's January 2026. We should be looking out to 2030, 2035. So then these little blips on the radar, we just look past them and we look at them as buying opportunities. Okay, because they're going to happen. So let's get to the points. Number one, tariffs, the Greenland tariff threats. Okay, so the primary catalyst for the sudden downturn came from geopolitics, right? A sudden escalation that we really didn't see coming. Because over the weekend, if you're following the news, President Trump announced a 10% tariff on goods from 8 European countries, including Germany and the UK, and they are set to go into effect February 1st. So why did he do this? He is linking the tariffs to a demand for the US to purchase Greenland. He even warned that if a deal isn't reached, the rates could skyrocket from 10% to 25% by June. And anytime there's threats of tariffs, what happens? It breeds uncertainty across all markets and people sell. We saw when he first announced the tariffs, was it back last year, right? The market just took a nosedive. It rebounded just fine. But anytime there's a threat of tariffs, it seems like all markets, the stock market and the crypto market, the uncertainty just causes selling. So this move by Trump immediately ignited fears of a global trade war again. And when the trade war headlines hit, investors fled, they fled the risk on assets. And a lot of times too with the bots that trade, right? With the algorithmic automated AI trading ETFs and everything out there. Those bots are trained to read headlines, and if they see trade war, tariffs, they will just automatically sell. And this is why we saw that 5.5% drop in Solana, the dip in Bitcoin. All of it was probably tripped up and sparked by the tariffs. All right, so number two, we saw $875 million in liquidations. So while the tariffs were the spark, the fire was fueled by this massive, we'll call it a long squeeze, because Bitcoin started to slip. And when Bitcoin slips, it usually triggers kind of like a chain reaction in everything else. The decoupling hasn't occurred yet. Very rarely, we'll see a coin here pump or go down on its own, like the Zcash and Monero stuff related to the Clarity Act. Those acted independently. But a lot of times Bitcoin leads the charge. So a lot of traders were betting on a move back to 100K. We thought there was going to be clarity. We thought some of this stuff was going to pass. And when they bet on that move back to 100K, they start implementing leverage. Okay, what does that mean? It means they're buying coins in crypto with money they don't have. And then when something like the tariffs comes up and they're like, oh crap, I am 2x, 10x, 100x leveraged, panic sell. It's not even panic selling. Sometimes it's forced liquidation. So these people buying Bitcoin with leverage got caught off guard with the tariff news, and in the last 24 hours, like I said, 875 million in total liquidations. And over 780 million of that, now this is kind of what was reported, 780 million of that came from longs. So traders who were forced to sell, like I said, because they went out and bought Bitcoin on leverage looking to reclaim the $100,000 mark, and then they were forced to sell, which pushes that market down even faster. It triggers, automated stop losses, or, just the automated selling in the crypto market is insane at points. I mean, XRP alone, XRP saw nearly 30 million in long liquidations. It lost the $2.10 level. It even broke $2. Like I said, I saw it. I wasn't completely following it all night, but I saw it hit $1.89 last night at one point. So let me just see what it's at right now. Let me pull this up. That's not it. Here it is. So where are we at right now? We are at $2.01 right now. So yeah. So over 780 million of that came from long positions. So these traders who were probably forced to sell, right? They thought the fear was over. We were going to get some market clarity from the government. They went long with leverage. And when the tariff news came out and people started selling, the people that bought long on leverage are forced to sell. And that pushes it down even faster. Like XRP alone saw 30 million in long liquidations. It lost the 210 level. It went all the way down to in the $80s. It looked like it's reclaimed $2 now. It looks like it's at $2.01. But man, it was brutal. Which brings me to point 3. Safe havens and stalled legislation. Okay, so our watch list is in the red, but the safe havens, oh my gosh, go check out gold and silver, surging to new highs last night. The money is exiting crypto. The futures of the stock market are down. And silver, it's going to hit 100. I guarantee you it's going to hit 100. And gold's also up. Gold's probably going to hit 5,000. So we have a regulatory chill, we'll call it, right? We don't know what's going on with the Clarity Act. It was supposed to give crypto legal structure, and it stalled. After, we reported last week, Coinbase withdrew its support. So the loss of momentum is hitting ETH, it's hitting XRP, it's hitting Solana, it's hitting the entire altcoin market, because investors were banking on that to clear the path for more institutional growth, to let us know what we can do. And with that stalled, with the tariff threat, right, and with these long people that decided to go long on leverage, it's just a perfect storm for lower prices. So what do we do here? What is our move? What's our next move? So I'm watching the 92,000 level for Bitcoin very closely. If it holds, hopefully it's just a leveraged flush. But if it breaks, we're looking at 88,000 next. So let me know. Let me know if you're buying this dip in Solana, 134. Or do you think there's more room to fall? Okay, what's your strategy? Mine right now, I'm in it for the long term. I have some dry powder, so I'm not selling anything. If it gets down to those levels, yeah, maybe we'll add a little bit more, but I just have I have an accumulation plan. So I just buy kind of the same amount every single month. Like I say, I'm looking out towards 2030 and beyond. So these short-term, this is when the short-term dips are buying opportunities. Okay, but usually only if you're really long-term horizon. If you're trading, I'm not really sure what to tell you there. But guys, hopefully this helps. It gives you a little bit of clarity on what the heck is going on right now and why we saw the big drop overnight. Until the next one, we'll see you next time.